Now, the last section of this book was really devastating on my highlighter. It's called Americans in Combat. The command and control of men in combat can be mastered by junior leaders of American forces short of actual experience under enemy fire. It is altogether possible for a young officer his first time in battle to be in total possession of his faculties and moving by instinct to do the right thing, provided that he has made the most of his training opportunities. Exercise in the maneuvering of men is only an elementary introduction to this educational process. The basic requirement is a continuing study, first of the nature of men, second of the techniques which produce unified action, and last of the history of past operations, which are covered by an abundant literature. That's how you got to get ready for combat. Those things right there. Now, there are a few simple and fundamental propositions which the armed services subscribe in saying to officer corps what may be expected of the average man of the United States under battle conditions. Generally speaking, they have held true of Americans in times past from Lexington to Okinawa. The fighting establishment builds its discipline, training, code of conduct, and public policy around these ideas, believing that what served yesterday will also be the one best way tomorrow. And for so long as our traditions and our system of freedom survives, these propositions are: when led with courage and intelligence, an American will fight as willingly and as efficiently as any fighter in world history. I concur with that. His keenness and endurance in war will be in proportion to the zeal and inspiration of his leadership. He is resourceful and imaginative, and the best results will always flow from encouraging him to use his brain along with his spirit. Under combat conditions, he will reserve his greatest loyalty for the officer who is most resourceful in the tactical employment of his forces and most careful to avoid unnecessary losses. So the soldier's going to know if you're throwing bodies away, they're going to know it. And same thing in the business world. I've worked with a lot of companies where they do their utmost to, let's say there's a downturn in the market and they're gonna fire some people, and they do their best to mitigate that. That develops loyalty. That makes them fight harder when the market turns back around. Now, sometimes that can be a problem because people try and be so loyal that they'd run their business into the ground and they fail. Back to the book. Except on a Hollywood lot, there is no such thing as an American fighter type. Our best men come in all colors, shapes, and sizes. They appear from every section of the nation, including the territories. In battle, Americans do not tend to fluctuate between emotional extremes, in complete dejection one day and exultation the next, according to the changes in the situation. They continue on the whole on a fairly even keel when the going is tough and when things are breaking their way. Even when heavily shocked by battle losses, they tend to bound back quickly. Though their griping is incessant, their natural outlook is on the optimistic side, and they react unfavorably to the officer who looks eternally on the dark side. Next, during battle, American officers are not expected either to drive their men or to be forever in the van as if praying to be shot. So the van is like on the front lines, the front of your formation. So long as they are with their men, taking the same chances as their men and showing a firm grasp of the situation and of the line of action which should be followed, the men will go forward. In any situation of extreme pressure or moral exhaustion where men cannot otherwise be rallied and led forward, officers are expected to do the actual physical act of leading, such as performing as first scout or point, even though this means taking over what would normally be an enlisted man's function. The normal gregarious American is not at his best when playing a lone-handed or tactically isolated part in battle. He is not a kamikaze or a one-man torpedo. Consequently, the best tactical results obtain from those dispositions and methods which link the power of one man to that of another. Men who feel strange with their unit, having been carelessly received by it and indifferently handled, will rarely, if ever, fight strongly and courageously. But if treated with common decency and respect, they will perform like men. So that's just talking about when you check in somewhere. You know, if you're in the military and you get somebody that checks in, take care of them. Welcome them. If you're at a company and somebody checks in, take care of them. Welcome them. Show them around. Assign them a mentor. Get them in the game. Mm-hmm. To lie to American troops to cover up a blunder in combat rarely serves any valid purpose. They have a good sense of combat and an uncanny instinct for ferreting out the truth when anything goes wrong tactically. They will excuse mistakes, but they will not forgive being treated like children. Basic leadership.